this morning as we continue on getting closer and closer to Easter. And yeah, very sweet. We had a wonderful Easter small group last night, and it was really special hearing people talk and hearing about the season and what the season can mean. And I mean, that's such a big part, right? As we noted yesterday, it's not just an event, it's a season. And it's a season that's so rich in the human condition. And I mean that in a very deep way for me personally is it's not just like this thing that's out there. It should be a season that we enter as best we can. And today, what I wanted to share with you is probably for a lot of people one of their favorite stories is of Easter, which is Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And It's an interesting story. I'm going to hold it in the context of that is the most profound sermon in the Bible. And it's interesting holding it in context and seeing it because it's like I just heard somebody say this yesterday. How many people, when they struggle with faith, they don't struggle with Jesus most of the time, which is interesting. When they study Jesus, when you study Jesus, like what is there not to like? The guy has such a beautiful perspective on the world. What they struggle with most of the time are Christians, which is interesting. That don't struggle with Christ. Let me tell you, those Christians drive me crazy. So, this is one of those stories that hopefully gets us back to the genius of Christ and the spiritual genius of it and the beauty of it. So this is a famous story from the Last Supper, and I'm doing it today because this Thursday is the time when many people actually celebrate that or actually do, wash feet, do any number of things to celebrate this particular event. So that's where we're picking it up. So when he had washed all their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then wash your if I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly I say to you, a servant's not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you do these things, blessed are you if you do them." That's such a good little sermon there, right? So here's Jesus and he's washing the feet. Now, just a couple of thoughts with that. That many of you know, because I imagine most of you have heard many sermons on this. That was a servant's job. People had dusty feet, they walked in sandals. So the job of a servant was to come in and to wash their feet. And again, most of the disciples, the followers of Jesus who were at this table, they were not of a social status where they had anyone ever wash their feet. Let's just be clear about that. They were not of that social demographic tier where that was even possible. So easy to imagine for most of them, they'd never had this, and it'd be, never had that, and it'd be a little heady. They're following Jesus and they're kind of feeling like, oh yeah, we're all that. I would be feeling I was all that, frankly. And into that, here comes Jesus, and he washes their feet, and you think about the tenderness of that, this servant perspective, and then he has this beautiful, beautiful line of thought here. And the line of thought is Jesus said, look, you consider me your leader, you consider me the master, quote unquote, and the master servant relationship. And he's saying, we've got to invert that. We've got to start to see ourselves really all as servants. And so he washes their feet. And this is real important. He was doing something to show them that servanthood and to even do something they would not have ever done for each other. Think about that. They would not have even done that for each other. No way. Wow. And his point of it all is, I'm showing you this thing. I'm going to ask you to do it. I'm showing you this thing. I'm going to ask you to do it. One of the things that has been flitting around in my mind a lot, and we've talked about it a fair amount in church too, is this idea of tests versus challenges. The tests are all about worthiness. Challenges are all about growth. Now, Jesus is not setting this out as a test. I'm testing to see how you handle this. Not at all, because this is clearly saying, and this is super important, preached on it Sunday. Go back and watch Sunday if you want to hear more on this topic. Jesus is clearly saying everybody is worthy. And that includes everybody. And I mean, for me, I always have to remind myself, yep, and that includes the people who actually believe other people aren't worthy. I have to include all of them. The whole group is worthy. And so Jesus doesn't set up tests here. What he does is he sets up a challenge. And challenges, again, are always about growth, and they're always about somehow making the world a better place to kunalam, being part of the restoration of the world. And to be part of the restoration of the world, Jesus is saying, follow this example, do this thing. That's really profound. It's incredibly profound to think about and to let into our lives. The profundity of that, it's almost I trip over words here to understand to convey, excuse me, to convey how deeply I think we have to approach that. It was, again, coming back, drawing full circle to the Easter small group we had last night. Just watching how people supported each other and watching how open people were with each other, watching this circle just keep coming back on itself, keep coming back on itself, was truly, truly remarkable. And granted, we're not there virtually washing each other's feet, but in a sense, people were. And that, folks, I just keep on thinking that's how the world changes. And I don't know quite how to double down on that. I don't know quite how to convey that strongly enough that church is always, and one of the biggest challenges to church is that church just becomes a content provider. And content's good stuff. I mean, a provider of good content is really good stuff. And the point, though, to all of that is community. And the point to all of that is to kunalam, restore, that's Jewish for restoration of the world. Is the point of all that is healing. The point of all that is service. The point of all that is stories just like this, where we're to talk about them, that idea of a breath that comes in, we gather, we talk about it. But then the most significant part of it is that we breathe it out, that we actually live it. So today, figure out some way to live that for you. What does it look like to you to take that servant's posture, to life, even in situations where you're not the servant per se, in no way, shape, or form would anybody even think of you that way. Maybe practice a little holy tomfoolery and take that position. Take that position of washing people's feet. Again, maybe literally for you tonight with friends, or maybe just figuratively in your mind. But that's what Jesus is asking. It's beautiful words. I'm asking you to do this. I'm asking you to go and do likewise. Beautiful little sermon. My 2 cents, the most profound sermon in the Bible right there. All right, dear friends. So thank you again for joining me. What we're going to do now is we're going to do our little meditation. We're going to do, after the meditation, we're going to do a little blessing. After the prayer, we're going to do a little blessing. And after that, we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, And forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, my apologies for a little cough there. And let's say hello to folks here. And again, just want to keep on reminding people Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do a little Holy Communion service. We've had a really nice sign up for that. More people than I expected, which is always super fun. So if that has any interest to you at all, feel free to shoot me a note, and we'll get you on the list. All right, so let's say hello to our dear friends here. So Linda, good morning to you, and so looking forward to dinner with you and friends tonight. That'll be really fun. And Patricia, great to see you joining us as well, and thank you for being here. Kim, good morning to you. Yes, and sharing that good morning with all the commerce. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy, and hope you're doing well. Sherry, good morning to you, and I hope you're doing quite well as well. Jean, good morning. Good morning to you down there in Maryland. Martha, good morning to you out there in Michigan. And Mandy, some of the most beautiful wedding ceremonies I have witnessed involved foot washing. Yeah, and it really is powerful. I remember years ago we did it. We did it here at New Church Live. This is obviously pre-COVID, when we actually had a lot of in-person versus virtual connection with people. And we did it. And I remember somebody who'd never had that experience, and they were like, whoa, that's some crazy spiritual juju with that. And it really is. It's just, there's something deeply profound that we are here to serve. If and it led to, just a little aside, led to a whole line of thinking around our job as Christians. If we are leaders, and many of you joining us on this call are, our job is servant leadership. There's a good topic to Google, good book to read right there. So friends, I hope you have a great weekend ahead. We will see you tomorrow, and start getting ready for the big day. Take care. Bye-bye.